In my training, sometimes participants ask me, how can we make sure that we don't make mistakes? I said, very simple, and I can tell you the secret. The best way to make sure that you never make mistake again is not to do anything. If you don't do anything, we'll never make a mistake. But then again, if we don't do anything, we cannot be successful. And this is the difference between the successful people and unsuccessful people. Unsuccessful people are afraid to make mistakes, so they don't do anything. Where do we learn this? Where do we learn that to not to make mistakes? Well, we learn mainly from school, because school is the only place in life where to be successful, you must not make mistakes. So the number 1, number 2, number 3 student in the school are those who make less mistake than the rest of us. But life is a bit different, right? In life, you cannot become successful without making mistake. If you want to become a great musician, for example, in the beginning you have to make a lot of mistakes. If you want to be a good sportsman, in the beginning you have to make a lot of mistakes. And this mistake, we call it practice. For example, the most successful people in the world make the most mistake. Mr. Honda, the founder of Honda Corporation in Japan, said, let me tell you that 99% of my activity is my failure. The only 1% is my success. And the same with Bill Gates. Bill Gates make a lot of mistakes in his life. But in computer world, we don't call it mistake. We just call it the last generation or last year model. And I think we should use this as an example. Whenever we make a mistake, don't focus on that mistake. We said, well, that was the last year model. Now I'm working on the current year model. Let me tell you a story about a great king. This king loved horses. He had more horses than anybody else in the kingdom. But yet he loved one horse more than all the others. So he commissioned an artist to paint his horse. 3 months later, the old artist said, sorry, Your Majesty, I have not finished yet. But if you just take a seat, I will finish it for you. So he unrolled a large piece of paper, and the king was surprised because it was a totally blank sheet of paper. But yet, in front of the eyes of the king, within a few minutes, the artist painted one of the most magnificent painting of a horse. It showed beauty, it showed energy and stamina. The king was so happy. This is better than he expected. But then again, he grew very angry. He said, old man, do you know who I am? I am the Lord of heaven and the Lord of the earth. You told me it will take 3 months to paint the horse. But yet, I saw it with my own eyes. You did it only in a few minutes. Without paying attention to the king, the old man turned around and opened a cupboard. And inside the cupboard, he took rolls and rolls of paper, hundreds of them. And when he opened the paper, each containing a drawing of a horse, one more beautiful than the next. But none of them is as beautiful as the one he did for the king. When we saw a great artist, a great sportsman, we said, we want to be just like that person. But unfortunately, not many of us can be as good as that person, because not many of us are willing to spend as much time to make as many mistakes as they do. You see, success comes from mistakes. It's not possible for us to become great without making mistakes. But we have to understand that when we make mistake, we must not focus on that mistake. We must not dwell on that mistake. When we make mistake, we must let it go. Because when we hang on to that mistake, that becomes a guilt. And guilt produces no result whatsoever. Guilt makes us feel bad, but it doesn't make us successful. When we make a mistake, we have to let it go. It doesn't matter how big or how small the mistake is, because when we make mistake, we do not become a mistake. For example, when we cook a fried rice and it turned out to be a bad fried rice, what do we do with that? Of course, we throw that in the rubbish bin, right? We don't keep it in our refrigerator. And then next time we make another bad fried rice, we put them in the refrigerator, and before you know it, our refrigerator is full of bad fried rice. The same when we make mistake. When we make a mistake, we do not become a mistake. We're just the maker of that mistake, and so we let it go, we throw it out. Albert Einstein said, you know what craziness is? He said, craziness is when we repeat what we're doing again and again and expecting a different result. When we make a mistake, let it go, but don't repeat it again and again and expect it to become more and more successful. When we make a mistake, pay attention to our mistake, let it go, learn from that, and improve what we do. Thank you very much.